Now, the month of April marked a new high for the now 60-year-old Nairobi Securities Exchange as the value of all shares listed on the bourse crossed the psychological 2 trillion shilling mark. Now, despite that milestone, foreign investors still dominate activity at the NSE, with local investors currently accounting for just about 45% of the bourse's trading activity. So how can one make money through the bourse, and what are the opportunities available for local investors? Peter Mwangi, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And of course, we've seen the rebranding that's going on. Perhaps we hope that this will begin to change perceptions of the club, that it is a club of the few who understand how the stock market operates, and we can only come in when there's an IPO, for instance, what happened with Safaricom and what happened with Kengen. What is the NSE doing to ensure that local investors are well aware of how they can make money on the stock exchange?
Well, we migrated our brand in order to signal a couple of things to the market. The first one is that the reality of the exchange has changed. We have been going through a journey of transformation. I'm sure you know about the whole demutualization process, which is now nearing completion, and after that we'll be looking to list the exchange and make it available to the investing public. And over the last 5 or so years, there have been significant changes at all levels in the way the market operates. And we wanted to call attention to that fact, but also to address the perception that the exchange is elitist, it's a club for the few, it's exclusive, and really make the point that the exchange exists for the good of the entire nation. We are open for business, Kenyan businesses, Kenyan small investors, to make ourselves a more approachable brand, and to make ourselves more relevant to the people in meeting their needs, their financial planning, their investing, their saving, retirement planning sort of needs.
Let's just get back to the basics. How does one make money on the stock exchange?
Well, the easy answer is that you buy low and you sell high. The difficulty, of course, is in knowing when to buy and then, of course, when to sell. But there are a few principles to bear in mind. The first one is that you need to think over a year or 2 years horizon. So that long-term perspective is important. It's not a place where you come to make a quick buck overnight. It could happen that you take a position and it appreciates in the short term, but you don't know that. So you should be willing to commit whatever investment you're making in the market for the medium to the long term. And then do your homework. Look at the business, understand the business, understand what it's doing. And if for any reason you either don't have the appetite to do that or the time to dedicate to that task, then you can find a professional manager who can invest your funds on your behalf.
You've talked about demutualization, and I'm just wondering, from a regular Kenyan's point of view, why should I care?
Well, I think for 2 reasons. The first one is that demutualization is a change in the ownership structure of established. It's basically owned by the members who trade in the market. After demutualization, we separate the ownership of the exchange from the right to trade in the exchange. That's key in ensuring that the exchange as an institution can then supervise the players without that perceived conflict of interest of supervising market players who are also the owners of the exchange. So that improvement in governance, that removal of that potential conflict of interest, ensures that the market functions and is seen to function in a more open and transparent manner. But demutualization also paves the way for us to list the exchange and give all investors a chance to own a piece of the exchange.
You've talked about smaller enterprises, and I'm aware of GEMS and some of the plans that you have for smaller enterprises to come and list on the stock exchange. Perhaps you can just tell us, especially those members of our audience who are interested in actually finding out more about how the smaller companies can list on the stock exchange.
Well, the new market is a very friendly market from the point of view of an entrepreneur, a business owner who is thinking about listing. We've made it very, very easy to get listed. For example, you only need a capital of 10 million shillings, so you need to be a reasonably sized business, but not a very big business. You also don't need to have been in existence for a very long time. You only need to have been around for a year, operating for a year, and you don't need to have made a profit. So the threshold of the requirements that have been set are fairly modest to make it very easy for the local business community to access the capital markets with all the benefits that are available in the market. They can raise capital, they can improve the profile of their businesses, they can attract better talent. There's a whole host of benefits,
that
not to mention the tax advantages as well of being a listed company.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and of course shedding light on the new NSE. Of course we will be looking forward to see what actually happens on the ground. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Peter